Time for another visit to Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. Last time on our long journey to find an elf who can lead us to the war hero elf Artea and find out how to prevent the return of the Sinistrals, we saved the half-elf Jerrin from being sacrificed to revive one of them, but we turned down her offer to join us for her safety. Leaving Belgen, I get moving east across the desert again. Not long into this trek, Lufia reaches level 17. She learns a spell Absorb which drains an enemy's MP. Once I make it back to Sirinagal to heal, I go southwest to cross another bridge. I go west to find this little house. There are 3 shelves to inspect in this house for a Revive, Sweet Water and Swingwing. The old man in the house says that the Lost Forest is nearby, but I'll never get through without a guide. We ask if anyone is available and the old man says yes, but she is a child. We still accept though and she's called in. It's Jerrin. Somehow she beat us here. Mixam, who in case you started with this video is the awful name I gave the main character, tells the old man that this isn't good enough, but there's no one else available so Lufia suggests trying to get through without her. Surely they can find a way through the forest themselves. But only elves know the way through, even being only half-elf is enough. Mixam realises they have no other choice but asks why Jerrin is so desperate to join the party. She just wants to repay the people who saved her life. Mixam accepts and Jerrin is so happy she hugs him, leading to Lufia wanting to rip her face off. Aguro tells her to calm down because she's just a child, to which Lufia points out that she only looks younger. I don't know about anyone else, but I never saw Jerrin as having actual feelings for the protagonist. Most of the time something like it comes up, it seems to me like she's deliberately trying to wind up Lufia for a laugh, since she's seen how possessive she is. In this case, all the teasing results in her giving Mixam a high-speed beating. And now our party is complete, with Jerrin joining at level 14. She mainly wields bows, and I equip her with a bracelet, earring, healed shoes and flame ring I had lying around. Jerrin starts with 7 spells. Strong, Escape and Poison we've seen before. Spark and Frost are the weakest fire and ice spells. Stun cures paralysis despite what the name implies. Warp is a Swingwing as a spell, meaning I can warp to any previously visited towns. Since Jerrin is behind on so many stats, I give her all 5 speed potions I'd found until now. The old man here will also grant me a free rest. Now to the Lost Forest. Southeast of that guide cabin between the 2 mountains is a large tree that represents the forest. In here, Jerrin will tell me which way to go. It's a bit like the Lost Woods screen in Zelda. Take the right directions or you aren't going anywhere. First east, then south, west and south again to get out on the other side. There's another cabin out here granting me another place for a free heal. The good thing about Jerrin's bows is that when you target a group, she will hit every enemy in that group. This is the only attack that isn't a spell or item to do so. Jerrin reaches level 15 from this fight. East of the cabin is the entrance to a tunnel. I go into the building, pass through, only to see an old man who tells me that there are 3 towers ahead, all 3 together hiding the way to Elfreya. He also says that once I get through here, to the north is the town Jennoba. So I pass through to end up on another island and move north. Just before I can enter Jennoba, I get a new pallet up of the spider enemy, the Tarantula. Jerrin really makes dealing with groups so much better. Now, even if Mixam and Aguro are refusing to focus on one enemy in the group, Jerrin is still making sure all of them are slowly being weakened. After that fight, I can enter Jennoba. The house behind the inn is hiding a bomb and high arrows on its shelves. An old man here says he's been trying to reach Elfreya for 30 years, checking out the nearby blue, green and red towers. In the order he listed them, the monsters get stronger and stronger. At the weapon shop, I buy Mixam a 4800 gold longsword to match Aguro. I buy a 1000 gold buckler for Aguro, a brawn breast for Jerrin, and 2 1000 gold glass berets for the women. It's 2 points more defense than Lufia's glass cap. In the item shop, I can find a high potion on the bookshelf. Behind the item shop is a miracle in the dirt. Up the stairs in the middle of town, there's a mind potion hidden in a crack in the ground west of the house. The building in the middle is claimed to be closed, but I go down the stairs anyway to find a bar. An old woman says she'll share info on how to get to Elfreya if I buy her a cider. She says I have to collect a blue, green and red gem. They're in each of the 3 coloured towers around the 3 islands that surround Elfreya. If I buy a cider from the old man, he says that there's an inn on the 1st floor of the green tower, which is handy as it's the only tower without a town nearby. Once I'm rested and saved, it's time to take on those towers. First is the blue tower, a short journey southeast from Jennoba. From the entrance I go northwest to a room with a chest, then northeast to some stairs to floor 2. Then I go southwest through 2 doors to find another chest, then all the way north to read a plaque on the northwest corner wall. That chest in the western room is a blue ring, which increases attack by 10 and defense by 8. It's just a better version of the power ring Mixam has, so I give it to him. The power ring goes back to Aguro. The first battle here gets me another new enemy, Horoquin. Winning this battle gets Mixam to level 18. The chest in the southwest corner of floor 2 holds a sweet water. The plaque here is written in Elvish, so only Jerryn can read it. It says to go to the red tower last. I then walk off the edge of the floor to land outside and start again. This time I go northeast into a room with a chest, and then northwest to stairs up to floor 2. Then slightly southeast and up the first set of stairs to floor 3, where I go across to the west for another chest. The chest in the eastern room contains a magic guard. Right after opening that chest I get another new enemy, Gargoyles. On the 3rd floor are my first Dark Elves, who look to me like super deformed Andy Bogards wielding swords. Jerryn reaches level 16 from killing them and learns Absorb. The chest up here is a high potion, then I return to floor 2. From the stairs I returned from, I go southwest to more stairs to another section of floor 3. There I take the stairs on the west to floor 4. I follow the floor north, east and south to a chest and some stairs to the top floor. Just before the stairs to floor 3 is my first pallet swap of the jelly enemy, the Jelly Bean. The chest on floor 4 contains a high magic. Then up the stairs is the pedestal. There should be a blue gem here, but the pedestal is empty, so all I can do is turn back. On the way back down, Jerryn reaches level 17, then Agaro reaches level 17 from the very next fight. For whatever reason, it felt like I had more encounters backtracking through floor 4 than I did in the entire rest of the tower combined. Back to floor 3, I take the eastern steps to floor 4. This short path leads to a series of holes I can drop down, first to reach a chest on floor 3 containing a revive, then for a chest on floor 2 holding a green jade. I then drop down to the first floor and leave, returning to Jenova to sell and heal. Once I set off again, moving south, Lufia reaches level 18 from the next fight. I get a new enemy from the next battle, the Spell Snail. Then further south to fight my first Chompweed. I cross the bridge to the south and get moving southeast, having a random encounter for every half a breath I take. Eventually, I travel east enough to reach the Green Tower. First of all, that inn the old man mentioned is east of the entrance on the first floor. So from the inn I go west and through the door for a chest. Then north through the door in the middle, going west of the fork and up some stairs into the northwest corner of floor 2, where there's a chest to open and a switch to flip. Then back to the first floor and up the stairs to the east to the rest of floor 2. In the same fight, Mixam reaches level 19 and learns Stronger, while Jerryn reaches level 18 and learns Confuse. The one chest on the first floor holds a green ring, which adds 4 attack, intelligence and magic defense, 7 defense and 10 agility. I give this to Jerryn. The next new enemy is another pallet swap of the Demon Lord and Mini Demon, the Dark Demon. The chest in the second floor corner is a magic guard and I turn the switch down. Onto main floor 2 now, and flipping that switch made some stairs appear around the north of the room. It leads to an isolated area of floor 3 with 3 chests. A broken red sapphire that Lufia suggests we leave because it's useless, a revive and an X potion. Dropping down to floor 2, I made more stairs slightly south of the last ones I used. They lead to 3 more chests on floor 3, a revive, X potion and high magic. Then back down on floor 2 in the southwest is a chest containing a swing wing. I then have to return to the switch I flipped to put it back. This gets rid of the north and south stairs on floor 2 and brings back stairs on the east and west. Both of them lead to the outer part of floor 3. There are stairs going up on both the north and south ends of this floor. First, the northern stairs take me to a knight who offers the secret of this tower for 100 gold. The secret is that I need to find the coloured gems and place them on the pedestal, not collect them from the pedestal like I assumed that old woman in Jenova meant. There are Elvish plaques telling me the correct order to place the gems, so when that one in the blue tower said to visit the red tower last, it meant place the red gem last. As for the southern stairs, they lead to a room with more stairs leading up to the top. Another empty pedestal and I jump off the tower to exit quicker. South of the tower I go east across the bridge and start moving north when I can. The red tower comes into view, but there's a village right next to it, Ruin. The population has a bit of a problem as the lake north of them that they rely on has turned poison. The cabinet in the inn has a high potion for the taking. Then the cabinet in this old woman's house in the northwest has a small knife. I'm just stealing a cutlery. She says that the only way to restore the lake is to bring back the water fairy. But that requires fighting a dark ghost and no one wants to do that. She once lived in the red tower, but the dark ghost drove her out. In the church, the bookshelves have a sweet water and a revive. Then in the field to the southeast are a hidden power potion and empty bottle. That may sound valuable to a Zelda player, but here they're worthless. Throw at a single enemy for minor damage. Finally, a shelf in the item shop has an emerald to pinch. This shop sells jewels, and Mixam will ask if they can buy any sapphires. She has green and blue, but we need red since the one I found in the Green Tower was broken. One long back and forth of the difference, or lack of, between rubies and red sapphires later, she says she doesn't have any. They usually get delivered from the Medan mine, but they haven't received any lately, because that kingdom is doomed. So I cast Warp back to Medan. I don't have to visit the kingdom at least. North around the outside of the mountains leads me to the entrance to Medan Mine. I go east and down a ladder for a chest, then south down another ladder, and northeast for a second chest, then southeast past a door for a third chest, then north through the door and then another one for 4 more chests. There's a man in here who says that an old man deeper in the mine may have a sapphire. The first chest has a foul water, the second a sweet water, and the third a bomb. Through the first door is the old man. He's been mining rubies for 70 years. We ask him if we can have one since we need one to reach Artea. He's old enough to recognise Artea of the Battle of Doom Island, and once he learns that the Sinistrals are returning, he opens a door into the back room for me. He comes out with a real, not scam, Hope Ruby. Not scam as in it's an actual ruby, not glass. It still doesn't grant wishes. This was once used in the castle, but he's the one who swapped it out for a fake without even the king knowing. For some reason. I still don't get why. It was still a scam whether it was a real ruby or glass. I then go into the back room for a diamond ring which makes items cost more when equipped, 500 gold, an opal and an emerald. Now to walk back to Ruin and enter the Red Tower. Of the 4 doors I start in front of, I take the far western one north to some stairs up to an isolated corner of floor 2 with 2 chests. Then back to the first floor and through the second door to some stairs down to a basement filled with poison water to float over to 2 more chests. Then back to the first floor again and through one of the eastern doors to take the stairs to the rest of floor 2. The first enemy I fight is the confusing Flame Freak. So, the legs and the fire hair are supposed to resemble a chicken, I think. But then what's the rest of it? Killing them gets Lufia to level 19 and teaches her Fright, a group targeting sleep spell, along with Agaro reaching level 18. The chests in the corner of floor 2 are a high potion and a red ring which grants 10 intelligence, 1 defense and 5 agility. The first fight after going back down the stairs gets Jerin to level 19. The chests in the basement are a spell potion and a power potion. Just before I head for the majority of floor 2, I face the first big meanie of the game. This fight gets Mixam to level 20. Now for floor 2. First I go a few steps north of the stairs to find another plaque. It says that blue is blue, green is green, and red is last. This teaches me nothing new. As for the rest of floor 2, there's a room just off to the east with a chest inside, then back to the stairs to go west and then south to a room with 2 more chests. Back to the stairs again, then south and east to reach 2 more chests. Then up the nearby stairs to a walled-in section of floor 3 with 2 more chests. After that it's back down to floor 2, south, west and north to more stairs up to floor 3. The chest in the side room to the east contains a float. As for the room in the southwest, Power Guard and Magic Guard. The ones in the east are a high magic and high potion. The chests on floor 3 are a smoke ball and a magic guard. Then to the rest of floor 3. Northwest from the stairs to get here are more stairs to a small section of floor 4 with the chest. Then back to floor 3 to go anti-clockwise along this narrow path to reach more stairs to floor 4 in the northeast corner. Then south, west and north to the stairs to the top floor. The chest on floor 4 holds a high potion. Then up to the top floor where I can see a ghost in front of the pedestal. The ghost claims to own the tower and accuses me of being sent by the Water Fairy. The Dark Ghost has 934 HP and a Thunder weakness. I start with my usual buffs and debuffs of Power Guard and Drain. When I don't need Lufia to heal, she's casting Flash. Now I have Jerin, I have an extra party member for healing and buffs instead of having to give up one of my main attacker's turns. The Dark Ghost's favourite attack is to keep casting water on the party. It's definitely a threat since it hits everyone and can even reach over 50 damage. He also has Ectoplasm which drains a party member's HP. But this guy doesn't have a way of healing himself, so he goes down rather easy. The Water Fairy returns to the tower and she's the one that appears when you get a game over. I still don't know the connection. With the Dark Ghost gone, she can now restore the toxic sludge near the Red Tower to its original form as a lake. I then drop off the tower since I must not place the gem on the pedestal yet. But I do go back in and return to the basement. With the poison removed from the basement, there are 3 new chests to open. But first, Lufia reaches level 20. The chests contain a blue jade, my 3rd dragon egg, and a miracle. I return to Ruin to heal, where everyone is happy to have their lives back to normal. I get going back to the blue tower, Jerin reaching level 20 on the way and learning stronger. So the game's translation really confuses things here, as the items to the pedestals are referred to as something different all the time. The old woman in Jenova called them gems, the party called them sapphires in Ruin, and the ones I picked up in the towers were called jades. And I have a green jade and blue jade, so I have all the gems I need. On the way back up the blue tower, Agaro reaches level 19. Mixam also reaches level 21. I get back to the top floor and place the blue jade in the pedestal. Now to climb back up the green tower. You can't actually get attacked by monsters inside the inn right after you've paid to be healed. That seems like it would be bad for business. It's new monsters I missed the first time too, Sandman. I get to the roof and place the green jade. That just leaves climbing the red tower. It's a decent idea for a set of connected dungeons. It's just that the issues I've complained about before with the high encounter rate and the slow dungeon walking speed make these second trips back up more tedious than anything else. It takes me about 20 minutes altogether for all three, but it's a very long 20 minutes. I place the red sapphire on the pedestal and Jerrin can hear a sound only elves can hear. She can hear a magic spell from Elfreya and the party teleported to a small island in the middle of all three towers. And the town we appear next to, finally, is Elfreya. Everyone here is fascinated to see humans, so much that I'm allowed to stay at the inn for free. In the flowers just west of the entrance is a spell potion. In the equipment shop I spent 4800 gold on a quilted silk. It has 4 more defense than Lufia's light robe. The house in the back of town has 2 chests, a speed potion and a mind potion. I go upstairs to finally meet Arteia. He can read Mixam's energy to know both that he is here to talk about the Sinistrals and that he is descended from Maxim. The two have such similar energies that Arteia thought he was Maxim back from the dead at first. And after the effort to get here, Arteia says he can't help because he lost his sight back at Doom Island. Plus he's old. But he's supposed to be an incredibly long-lived elf. How old was he at Doom Island if only 100 years has him at the old 3 steps from dropping dead? He does suggest that maybe Maxim's sword, the dual blade, can help them. Mixam says he doesn't know where it is, so Arteia says that it's probably at the bottom of the sea with Doom Island. That doesn't help much either. But Arteia says it's the only thing that can defeat Davos and can only be used by someone with Maxim's energy. As for that bottom of the sea part, we heard about the world famous neglectful father, Professor Rael Shire, back in Lorbinia when his abandoned son robbed us. He's the descendant of a Lexis Shire who helped Maxim and Arteia out 100 years ago. He may be able to help. His lab is in the basement of Odell Castle, which is on the continent to the south and over some mountains. He also gives me the key to the shrine that can get me there. Arteia doesn't ask about Guy, nor do we tell him. And neither of them ever mention Selan, who was also their friend and travelling companion and whose death led to Maxim's death. They only ever talk about her husband. If I was her, I'd wonder if we were even friends. As I go to leave, Arteia has a gift for Jerrin, his bow. It's 42 points stronger than her starting elven bow. I am going to keep Arteia's bow equipped on Jerrin for a long ass time. Even when I get stronger weapons, the bow's ability to hit an entire enemy group at once is just too valuable. I will only ever replace it with another bow, and there's only one more bow to obtain in the game, which won't be for a long time. Before I go looking for Professor Shire, Mixam has gone past level 20, meaning another floor of the old cave. The man in the shop says to go down to the 5th floor and bring back the golden pawn, so down I go. First I head south, grabbing 2 chests before I go into another room containing 5 more chests. Back to the first room and east across the poison, grabbing a hidden item on the way to another chest. North next into a room with 3 chests. South through the middle door here and through the next room with 3 more chests. South into the next room where there's another item hidden in poison, and 4 chests nearby before I go to the southern area of the room and east for 2 more chests, before going north through the next door. This room has 3 chests and I move north to the exit. 1 chest for that room and through the northeast door to the final room with 5 more chests. The first 2 chests are a smoke ball and empty. In that southwestern room I get a cursed luck blade and the new Maceman enemy, a pallet swap of the apprentice boss. Lufia's flash utterly destroys them. The other chests are an opal, empty, X-potion and empty. On the way out of the room is the next new enemy type, rock, then sting after I leave the room. The first item hidden in poison is an X-potion. The chest in the east of the first room is a kite shield, goes to Mixam for 2 more defense over the buckler. In the northern room I get a high bomb, high potion and empty. The room south of it has me get an empty chest, spell potion and revive. In the large southern room I get an empty chest, a second one, 500 gold, a float, a revive in the poison, a third empty and a power potion. First chest in the next room is a battle axe, going to Agaro for 40 more attack than the longsword. The second chest is empty and I face my first gold orc. The third chest is also empty. For the room after that, the one chest has a high bomb. Then in the final room, Lufia reaches level 21 and learns Bolt, the next level up from Flash. The last 5 chests are empty, a miracle, the golden pawn, a frost ring which makes ice spells more effective, and empty. Back to the shop in Grenoble to hand in the golden pawn for 3000 gold. Now I can begin the search for Professor Shire. Back to Elfreya, in the basement of Arteia's house is a portal requiring that shrine key to reach. It teleports me to an area similar to the shrine I visited west of Alekia at the start of the game. The other building it leads to has me exit onto another island southwest of the Green Tower. Mixam reaches level 22, learning the stone spell. West from that shrine and across the bridge is another shrine. This one leads to the big room connected to the one near Alekia. But I don't really get the point of most of these, as you'll know the warp spell long before unlocking any of these doors. Back outside, Jerrin reaches level 21 and Aguro reaches level 20. From the shrine I started from, I get walking southeast, making sure to stay on the east side of the mountains when they appear. After what feels like a battle from taking every single step, I move south between these mountains and across a bridge. A little further south is the small village Ranks. This place isn't very important, just a stopgap on the way to Ordell. The first woman to talk to in here says that all of the town's men have gone to work in a tunnel in the mountains. At the equipment shop, I spent 4200 gold on some half mail, 2500 on an iron helm, and 2000 on some spike shoes. The half mail replaces Mixam's light armor for 4 more defense, along with the iron helm granting 3 more over the Braun helm. The spike shoes reduce defense by 2 from the tan shoes, but give 5 more attack points. Behind this house in the northeast is some flowers with a power potion inside. Outside of town, you may see a cave entrance to the east. So I go north across the bridge, east to another, and then south to reach it. In the cave east of Ranks, I run north to the next room to take an escape from the chest. The old man just tells me to go to the tunnel instead. Said tunnel is southwest of Ranks. All of Ranks' men are in here working. For whatever reason, there's a strange power preventing them from going out the other side despite the tunnel being finished. That's because the small room to the north is filled with invisible walls. This is the correct way through, and I reach the stairs to leave the cave on the other side of the mountain. I get moving southwest and quickly reach the Kingdom of Ordell. An old man says that there is a cave west of town with 4 entrances, but only one of them leads to the town Arus. At the weapon shop, I buy Mixam his own battle axe. In the armor shop, I spent 1400 so Aguro can have his own kite shield. Another person says that the town of amazing cooks, Leiden, is to the southeast. A house in the northwest corner has an X potion in a chest. The people downstairs in that house talk about the magicians in Arus, but no one can get there because the bridge leading there is broken. They say an architect called Piron in the castle should be able to fix it. Their cabinet hides a miracle and their chest an X magic. North to the castle next. To the east and then north are 3 flower beds, each one hiding an item. A speed potion, mind potion, and great potion. Inside the castle, the first person I talk to says that Piron is here to see the princess and designed this castle himself. I go into the back room where all 4 drawers hide an item. Spell potion, power potion, high magic, and another high magic. Artea said that Rael's lab is in the basement of the castle, so let's find our way there. Up the stairs to the throne room, Piron says the bridge to Arus collapsed because it was old. He can't repair it alone though, he needs his tools and his old crew, one of which is in Leiden. I go back outside and to the northwest corner to the stairs down to Rael's lab. 1 corridor later, I'm welcomed to Shire Lab 2. Another worker says that Rael is in Arus studying magic, so I need that bridge fixing. One woman says that Rael recently created the submarine. Inspecting the equipment in the southeast corner has me find a Mind Guard and Power Guard. Down the stairs, and the man down here says that the tunnel this teleporter leads to goes in 4 directions. North for an Arus cave, west for Shire Lab 1, south for some plains, and east to get back here. I take the teleporter, and when I reach the 4-way tunnel, I go north to the teleporter there. I end up in an isolated section of the Arus cave with 2 chests. A yellow ring which grants 20 defense and 20 magic defense which goes to Aguro, and a stone cure. I go back through the teleporter and this time take the western tunnel to be sent to Shire Lab 1, otherwise known as Platina. I enter the main building, go up the stairs to the east and start inspecting equipment for a high magic, X arrows, gloom arrow and high bomb. This place is some kind of dock and I can't do anything else here for now. It's on an island just west of the island Ordell is on. I walk back to Ordell and get moving towards Leiden. I meet my first pallet stop of the spiked newt, the pin lizard. Then as I continue moving southeast, I fight my first blue meanie. I go across the first bridge I see and continue southeast under the mountains to find Leiden. Almost everyone here is some kind of chef. In the inn I take a swing wing from the cabinet. In the restaurant west of the entrance, the red-haired man is Piron's worker. He skips out on his dessert to go back to Ordell. In the house in the middle of town I take a grilled newt from a shelf and a stone cure from a cabinet. We can review one cook's meal in here. Lufia is kind, but the rest of the party's ratings get lower and lower. Another wants a purple newt to complete his dish. Down in the basement are 4 chests, a chop block, miracle, small knife and fry pan. The cooking equipment are more useless joke items. With this place cleared of its items, I walk back to Ordell. I walk back to Piron who tells me to go check on the bridge's condition while they prepare their tools. So outside I head directly west across the bridge, getting a fight with a ghoul, a zombie pallet swap. Winning this fight gets Lufia to level 22. There are 2 Arus cave entrances past this bridge and I go through the northern one. I start in the northeast corner. I go southwest and down 2 sets of stairs to find a chest. Back up the ladders, west a little and south to a second chest. West and down another ladder for a third chest. then south a long way and down a ladder to reach 2 more chests. My first fight in here is against a stronger Mimic, the Mimicker. This fight gets Mixam to level 23, Agaro to level 21, and Jerin to level 22 where she learns a second fire spell, Flame. 2 steps later has me facing my third Wisp, the Blue Wisp, and an Armor Lord, and then the next fight adds the Crazy Jar. That first chest down the 2 ladders is a half mail that goes to Agaro. The second chest is a glass robe, but it's not, the wrong name was written in it. It's actually a weapon for Lufia that's 22 points stronger than her rapier. Right after is a new enemy type, the Ice Snake. That third chest is a Stone Cure. On the way to get the next 2, Lufia reaches level 23 and learns his second water spell, Water. The next fight gets Mixam to level 24. The 2 chests down the ladder are a Quilted Silk for Jerin and a Miracle. After getting those chests, I lead the way I came. My first battle outside is yet another new enemy, the Giant Oak. After healing at Odell, I next move southwest from it, but staying north of the mountains until I reach another bridge. Then across it I go north until I find another entrance to the Aris Cave. This time I start in the southwest. I go south down 2 ladders, then northeast to 2 chests. Then back to the ladders, I take the western path north to inspect the bridge. The chests contain another Dragon Egg and an X Potion. On the way to the bridge, Agaro reaches level 22. I check out the bridge and not only is it still broken, it's puny. I don't know why I had to do this in the first place. Time spent on random encounters aside, this game is pretty well paced, but this check out the broken bridge to make sure it's still broken then come back part feels like padding. Back to the castle and I confirm with Piron that it's broken. So he tells me to meet them at the bridge later because they might need our help too. My first battle outside the castle gets Mixam to level 25 and teaches him the spell Courage, which increases the entire party's defense, Lufia to level 24 and Jerin to level 23. Back to the bridge and Piron tells me to find a way to the cliff on the right where the chests are so I can inspect it from there. This guy is trying my patience. So it's back to the bridge directly west of Odell and through the cave entrance there. This time I start in the southeast corner. I go north until I can go west and down a ladder, then all the way west until I can turn north, grabbing a chest on the way, then west to where 2 more chests are and where Piron asked me to stand. Agaro reaches level 23 from the first fight back in here. A couple battles later, Mixam reaches level 26 and Lufia reaches level 25, also learning Courage. I am shooting up in the levels in this place. The first chest is a glass cap, and from the next battle Jerin reaches level 24 and learns Stone. The 2 chests at the end of this route are Wind Shoes and an Iron Helm. The Iron Helm goes to Agaro. And now that I'm standing here, Piron and his worker finally start fixing that bridge. With that done, they return to Odell, but I still have to travel all the way back out to the southwestern entrance and around to the bridge again. One boring trek back around later and I can finally cross that bridge. Across the bridge and east at the first turn, then north, east and south to 2 chests. Back to the north turn is the path south, east and north to some stairs down to the basement. In that basement I go north through a door and over the poison to a chest. Then north through another and around to the stairs to the northwestern quadrant of the main cave. Up the ladder and south to the first chest, then west and up another ladder to the second. Back down the ladder, west and south to the final chest before I go back up that ladder and another to the northwest to reach the stairs that lead to Aris. The 2 chests are an escape and high arrows. On the way to the stairs, Mixam reaches level 27, Lufia reaches level 26, and Agaro reaches level 24, all from the same battle. The chest in the basement is a miracle. The door here is locked with a plaque next to it saying, Le Fales La Falas. They assume it's Elvish, so they have Jerin say it. It doesn't work. Mixam tries next, still doesn't work. But when Lufia says it, it works and the door opens, Lufia considering that maybe it's because magic is her strong point. The first chest in the northwest is a revive, the second is also a revive. Agaro and Jerin reach level 25 from the same battle. The third chest is an X potion, and the next battle gets Lufia to level 5 and teaches her Boost, a spell that heals the entire party. The next battle gets Mixam to level 28 and teaches him Champion, a single target full heal spell. And then I can leave, happy to never have to do this dungeon again. It would have been just a bit tedious were it not for the pointless backtracking with the bridge. North from the exit is the town Aris. I go into a house in the west only to be told that Rael is not in. He's at the Tower of Grief, which is to the west of the village through a cave. If I go there, he had better not have moved somewhere else by the time I get there. An old man says that there is a ring-shaped island to the west, the result of Doom Island's fall, smashing through the full island that was once there below it. There's a high potion to take from their cabinet. When I go further north into town, Lufia breaks away from the party to look at the flowers. She calls Mixam over to see that this place has prettier flowers in bloom. The other 2 talk with Mixam while Lufia enjoys herself about how she's enjoyed flowers ever since she was a kid and how Mixam's known her all that time. She rejoins the party once she's had her fun. The flowers around the back of this house are hiding a mind potion. The old man in the house says that only magicians should be able to open the door, and that if Lufia did, she must have great skill. He urges her to meet the Elder in the Tower of Grief. In the equipment shop, I buy 2 red berets for 2200 gold. They go to the girls for an extra 2 defense of the glass beret. Before I go look for the professor, I gained so many levels in that cave, so I walk back to Grenoble. The man in the shop says to go to the 6th floor of the old cave and come back with the miracle gem. Counting this one, there's just 2 floors of the old cave left. The first room is a short trip northeast collecting 6 chests. At the end I take the western door north. This is a one-way path to the northeast with 4 chests on the way and 3 at the end. Back to the 2 doors and I take the eastern one. 1 chest on the way to the ladder going down, then all the way east grabbing 5 chests and an item in the poison before moving north for another. Back south and all the way west to the stairs with 2 more chests to grab on the way. The basement is a short journey northeast with 6 chests on the way. Up the stairs back to the 1st floor and all the way west for 7 more chests and another item hidden in the poison. The first chest is empty, then a high bomb, empty, high bomb and empty. In the next room it's an empty, Gladius which replaces Agaro's battle axe for 13 extra attack, plate cloth which replaces Lufia's quilted silk for 3 more defense, plate mail to replace Mixam's half mail for 4 more defense, then I get another new enemy in Frogula. I assume it's supposed to be a kappa, but it looks like a gross frog with a turtle shell made of hedgehog spikes. Don't like it. The 3 chests at the end are a power potion, speed potion and spell potion. Through the eastern door, the chest before the ladder is an escape. 2 new enemies at once with the trap harp and axe knights. The chests in the sludge are an X magic and X potion, with the hidden item being a miracle. Then further east for a plate helm, 2 more defense and the iron helm for Mixam, empty, then a battle against my first harpies. Another empty chest and then north for a revive. Going back west for an empty and a hammer rod, 10 attack more than Lufia's alleged glass robe. Down into the basement for a power guard, X magic, empty, X potion, knife shoes which replace Agro's spike shoes for 1 more defense and 5 more attack, and needle heals. To the northern 1st floor for mind guard, power guard, empty, miracle gem, empty, blast ring which increases damage from explosion spells, and a miracle in the poison. Then back to Grenoble to sell the miracle gem for 5000 gold. Now to walk back to Arras. Slightly west of town is the cave to the Tower of Grief. The cave is short and nothing special, apart from needing to float over some poison to reach the stairs back out. And once outside, a few more steps west is the Tower of Grief. First to the northeast to grab the first chest. Back to the start to go north through the door and up the stairs to 3 more chests. Then back to the 1st floor and up the stairs in the northwest to go south, east and north to the stairs to floor 3. My first battle here has a pallet swap of the Nightmare, the Halloween. The chest contains a purple ring I give to Mixam. It increases attack by 10, defense by 11, intelligence by 4, agility by 2, and magic defense by 5. I get the Yeoman, a pallet swap of the Archer. The 3 chests on floor 2 are a Revive, Dragon Egg and Stone Cure, then on to floor 3. There are 4 sets of stairs in the middle. First I take the northeast one to chests with a Revive and Stone Cure. Then I take the southwest one to chests containing an X potion, Lufia reaching level 28 and Agaro reaching level 26, and a high magic. The other 2 lead to the same thing, stairs to floor 5 where there are healing tiles waiting for me. Mixam reaches level 29 up here and I take the stairs up to the top floor. There's a chest containing a miracle and an old man next to it. He's Flake, the Elder of Arras. He can feel that Mixam has fought a Sinistral. He can feel great ability in Mixam, causing Agaro to say how impressive the old man is, and Jerin to tell Agaro off for being rude and interrupting him. But Flake is more interested in the one who opened the door leading to Arras. He tells Lufia that she has much potential and that she's only just beginning to understand the extent of it. He calls forth some of Lufia's hidden magic power and all it does is increase her MP by 10. Not really what I was expecting. Flake says that he can sense an imbalance and that the revival of Daos and the other 2 Sinistrals may be soon. Then we finally get to the reason we're here and ask him where Rail is. He returned to his lab and we just missed him. I walk off the edge of the tower. Not out of frustration, just so I can get on the map quicker and warp to Platina, and there he is up the stairs. He tells us not to touch anything because a guy touched something the other day and was turned into a frog. Well, joke's on him because I already touched everything earlier to rob him blind. After his long story of making a man suffer through several lizard transformations, he asks who we even are. The party have a hard time believing this guy could be a genius considering the story he opened with. So to prove it, he offers Mixam a tonic that would give him 4 arms, and Mixam declines because he's a fool. Why would you not have 4 arms? I could get these videos written so much quicker with 4 arms. Why would you waste that chance, Mixam? I fucking hate. I do like how Mixam is offered extra limbs, and for Jerin he just has hair growth tonic. Lufia is incensed at the idea of her having competition if Jerren has long hair too, and tries to get Mixam's backing by saying her hair would still look better anyway. But Mixam's like, fucking crazy bitch, I don't know, I'm gonna spend my life staring at your hair. But then Aguro, who has just been shedding intelligence ever since Jerren joined, is just like, hair? I don't understand. I love these dysfunctional fuckers and wish they whined at each other more. They eventually get back on track and ask for a submarine, which Rael has named Falcon. The Falcon can not only move underwater, but fly too. It's docked in the basement and he takes her to see it. He waits for the party to be suitably impressed, but it's dusty with chipped wings and a hole in the roof. Mixam asks if Rael has ever actually used it, and Rael asks how he knows, to which Mixam responds by saying that it's shit, just with kinder words. Rael will prove its use by giving us a demonstration and everyone piles in. Rael drives to this whirlpool and prepares to dive, to everyone's concern. He gets underwater, but after a short journey northeast, the Falcon starts leaking. He makes it to another whirlpool while everyone else is soaking and surfaces. So underwater travel is out of the question right now, but sea travel is still fine. He tells me to meet him at Shire Lab 3 later to fix that function and goes off on a ship. But at least we have a boat now, which is good since we still have 2 whole continents left to explore with no way to reach them otherwise. I swap Jerren's green ring for the flame ring since there'll be a lot of very flammable monsters on the sea. Moving west, my first sea battle is against the Lobsteron. Jerren's flame ring enhanced flame spell annihilates most of these enemies, managing over 250 damage. The next battle has 2 more newcomers, the Psycho Clam and Red Star. Like Rael said, to the west is Shire Lab 3, or Carbis to give its actual name. The cabinet in front of the door hides a mind potion. I head down into the basement to make Rael fix a sub, but instead he tells me to go to the town Baku to bring back a guy named Cooper. Aguro tells him to do it himself. I don't know why Aguro waited until Jerren joined to decide to have a personality, but I'm grateful for it. He'll just say whatever the player is thinking at times. Cooper is Rael's right-hand man and required for fixing the Falcon. Baku can be found to the west of Carbis. There's a place here that lets you heal for free, in which you inhale the fumes from burning oil. Okay, maybe she has scented oils, but I'm doing this while wedged between 2 heavy machines. So I could go to Baku now, but so many places have opened up to me. So many towns with treasures to collect and to add to my warp list for when I actually need to go there later. Travelling north, I fight my first killer eels. North of Carbis is the ring-shaped island that Doom Island smashed through 100 years ago. On the northeast end of the island is a town, Sochet. Even with Doom Island fading from memory, people still don't want to live here because it's where it landed. The church is in the back and its corners both have hidden sweet water and a revive. There's a cave under the church leading to a tunnel with a chest containing a miracle. Then downstairs the cabinets have a straw doll and glue marrow. The old man says that there is a tunnel in the ocean that leads to the lagoon in the middle of the island. He means the whirlpools you see in the ocean when travelling by boat. That's all for Sochet and I get travelling west. Once I pass the island slightly, I get moving north. During this, Jerren reaches level 26 and learns the spell Dead. Heading north enough has me reach the dais where I first met Jerren. From there I go west a little more and keep going north. I find a small isolated island with another town on it. This is Frederia, a village made for Shire Lab staff. Then why is it not even in the same hemisphere as the other Shire Labs? There's no teleporters here, imagine that commute. Also, Shire can afford to have a whole town built and maintained for his employees, but can't afford to send his son literally any money at all so he doesn't have to steal to survive. One woman says that the town Erebus is to the west of here, but it requires more than just the Falcon's boat mode to get there. The flowers next to her contain a grilled newt. The flowers on the east hold a miracle. The inn costs 50 gold, but the party argue that it looks more like a prison cell than an inn room. In the northeast corner of town is Shire Lab 4, which is just a dock. Down the stairs and go mooching around for a revive and stone cure. Apparently, Frederia is the name of Rael's wife, who no one has ever seen. That probably includes Rael himself too, based on the way he treats his son. There's one kid who wants to go out into space. Space being a concept that neither Aguro nor Jerren have heard of. This place has some very expensive weapons. First, a grand blade for 38,000 gold, 76 points stronger than Aguro's Gladius. Then from the armour shop, 2 10,800 gold carbo plates, a 10,000 gold clear silk, 2 6,000 gold carbo shields, an 8,900 gold carbo helm, and 8,500 gold carbo cap. I had almost 100 grand, now I have only 4,000 gold left. For Mixam, the carbo plate is 10 points more defense than plate mail, carbo shield is 13 more defense than kite shield, carbo helm is 4 more defense than plate helm. For Lufia, clear silk is 6 more defense than plate cloth, the carbo cap is 6 more defense than the red beret. I'll come back here later when I have some more money. Sailing west from Froderia shows me why I can't reach Erebus by boat, as the entire shore is blocked off by giant rocks. So instead I sail southwest of those rocks to the southern end of this northwestern continent to find another town surrounded by forest. One step after getting off the boat has me fighting my first Mega Turtles. They have high physical defense, but a trio of them like here reward you with a gigantic 3900 XP. The town they were delaying me from reaching is Epro. The house east of the entrance has a high bomb in its cabinet. The people here say that there was a huge earthquake recently that split the mountains to the north. The earthquake also created tunnels in the sea for us to use later. A house in the northwest has an X-Magic on the bookshelf. Then the flowers near that house hide a power potion. That's all to do inside the town, but I hang around for a bit more of that XP. Of course, there are still other enemies that can appear, like the Mad Wolf and Griffin. This specific combination gets me 4000 XP. Mix-Am reaches level 30 from the next battle, Luffy reaches level 29 and learns the Protect spell, and Aguro reaches level 27. Back on the Falcon, I sail south from Epro, passing a few small islands until I find another town on the tip of the southwestern continent. This town is Mars. All the buildings are on separate islands separated by an underground tunnel. In the armour shop I buy two 2800 gold silver wrists for Luffy and Jerin. They are 10 defense stronger than the Brawn Breast. I then spent 7400 on a silver helm to give Aguro 4 more defense over the Iron Helm. You can take a cruise around the nearby islands for 20 gold, but I don't just yet. One person says that the nearby Ison Island has been taken over by pirates. Back outside I sail west along the shore until I see a narrow river I can sail south down. At the end of the river is the Kingdom of Herat. First I inspect the cabinets in the inn for a plum cider and high potion. This place's biggest problem is that the king is a gourmet, but can't get any food that meets his standards lately. In the house behind the inn, a woman says that a purple newt lives in a nearby cave that is supposed to be really good for cooking with. I raid her house for a rod and apron. In the west of town, a kid says that the king has collected many jewels and a recent acquisition of his is something called Alumina. The back of the inn and weapon shop signs are hiding a mind potion and great potion. I next go north to check out Herat Castle. Into the castle, up the first set of stairs and into the northwest room on the second floor to find a guy getting fed up with the king's appetite. He has an X-bomb in his drawers. I wonder what that means. The northeast room is the chef's kitchen and he asks Jerin to taste test some food for him. She adores it until he reveals that it has strange slime in it. Then Aguro gets up in her face to laugh at her eating slime. So Jerin calls Maxim over to scold Aguro like he's his dad or something. Jealous of Jerin having Mix-Am stand up for her, Lufia decides to get in on calling Jerin Slime Elf too. After Lufia complains about not getting enough attention, the chef pretends none of that just happened and gets talking about the food again. Mix-Am asks why he's even cooking with slime to begin with. The king has been such a picky eater lately that the chef is trying everything he can think of to make a dish the greedy bastard will eat without complaint for once. Up more stairs and in the middle room, an old man says that maybe a master chef from Leiden is their best hope. The drawers here have a power potion inside. Can't do anything else here for now, so I leave. I return to Seringal and sail slightly north to reach the town of Forfeit. We've heard about this before. Any items I've sold off can be rebought here. But I'm not here for my old items, I'm here to loot it for some new items. First, before I enter the main building, I run between the outer wall and the trees to the back of it where there's some stairs going down. Down here I take the tunnel south to end up behind the counter of one of the shops so I can open this chest for a mind ring, which grants 30 intelligence and 10 magic defense. I sell it right away, along with a load of outdated rings. I only have 5 pages of inventory and they were taking up a lot of it. Now into the building properly. Inspecting the item shop shelves get me a high magic and high potion. Up to the second floor, and a guy says that the shop here somehow makes you buy something even when you don't want to. The woman here says that only men could fall for such an obvious trap. The reason it works is because when you enter, 2 women essentially take you by the hand, drag you to the counter and will not let you move until you buy something. It's all junk, so I just buy the cheapest. As thanks for buying a 2 gold empty bottle, the 2 kiss Mix-Am, who decides he must shop here again, while Lufia says that they most definitely will not. This is where I got the idea that Jerin is intentionally annoying Lufia, as she says that she's with Maxim anyway, and when Lufia angrily asks what she means, Jerin tells Lufia that anger will cause her to get wrinkles. All this was to steal a gown and a ribbon from the cabinets. That's everything I wanted to do here. Sailing southwest of Sochet to the southwestern continent, I find a shrine miles away from any town. As I get walking west from it, I eventually see a tower wedged between 2 mountains. This is the Tower of Light, the tallest tower we've seen yet, and right away I drop myself through this hole into the basement where there are 6 chests. A high bomb, spell potion, power potion, stone cure, X potion, and another X potion. Then back up the stairs to the first floor. I go through the door in the southwest to go up some stairs. I face my first Zooster and werewolf enemies, followed by my first Mad Lily. I then drop down an obvious hole in this floor to land in front of a chest containing an undead ring, which causes more damage to undead monsters. Then through another hole to end up back in the basement. Back to the first floor, I take the southeastern room and just do the same thing, falling through a hole to another chest holding a sea ring, which causes extra damage to sea creatures. Back on the first floor, Jerrin reaches level 27. I then go up the stairs in the northwest corner. On the second floor, I go all the way south and east into a room with a chest, and then up the stairs to floor 3. Starting in the centre, I go south for a chest and then northeast into a room with 2 chests. Back to the start and north into a room with a 4th chest before I go up the northeastern set of stairs. The chest on floor 2 is a stone cure. On floor 3, the southern chest is a revive, and between the northeast room are an X magic and X potion. On the way to the middle north room, Lufia reaches level 30. The chest in that room is holding another revive. On to floor 4. I start by going all the way south, then west to go up the stairs to floor 5. East and north through the door, taking the west split to reach a chest, then back to the split to take the eastern one to the stairs to floor 6. Mixam reaches level 31 from the first fight and learns the Fright spell. First fight on floor 5 is against my first Terraquin, a Horrorquin palette swap. Agaro reaches level 28 on this floor and the chest is an X potion. Floor 6 next. I go all the way southwest and down some stairs to a narrow tunnel on floor 5 to go all the way north to the stairs to the northwest corner of floor 6 where there is a chest. Why do I write myself such long sentences? I then drop back down to floor 5 through the hole. The chest contains a miracle. Back down to floor 4, I go through the door in the middle of the room and go all the way north to more stairs back to floor 5. There's more stairs up to floor 6, so I take those. To the southwest, I go up the stairs to floor 7 where I can grab a chest holding a Gloom Voice, an item that causes instant death to all enemies. This means it's too good to use on any normal encounter, but bosses are immune, so it'll just never get used. Then to the middle north of the room for a series of stairs up to the roof, where there is a chest containing the Might Helmet, the best helmet in the game. I give it to Jerrin for 27 more defense than the Red Beret. Then back down to floor 6 and through the door in the middle of the room. It leads to some stairs to a chest containing a power guard. One tile north of the chest is a hole. I drop down a couple holes to find the final 4 chests on this isolated section of floor 4. A large shield, inferior to the carbo shields I've already bought. A silver robe, 6 points better than Jerrin's quilted silk. A plate cap and a great axe, 25 points stronger than Mixam's battle axe. That's all for now, so I leave. There is a locked door in the back of the first floor, but I can't do anything about it just yet. As I journey south from the tower, across this bridge, I finally reach the town of Baku on the southern edge of the continent. Funny I mentioned the locked door in the Tower of Light, as the very first person I talked to says an old man had the key to it but lost it. And through that door is the only way to reach the town Linz on the other side. And in that town is a man named Clack studying Doom Island. The house that guy is in contains all 3 of Baku's treasures, an X potion, X magic and revive. I talk to the old man I'm robbing, the Elder of Baku, and he says that the rumours about a Tower of Light key are wrong. He still has it and says we can use it whenever we want. Other people in town think the key has been stolen. It's hard to sympathise with the man in the inn saying that when near the Tower of Light you feel a cold shiver despite not being cold, when I was writing this and the first Lufia video and Street Fighter Alpha while having the flu. I remember I'm supposed to be searching for this Cooper guy. The man at the church says that he went off to inspect the 5th level of the old cave. That priest apparently once travelled the world with Rael, Cooper and Clack. Well, I know Cooper is in the old cave, but first I walked to Frederick to spend 15,600 gold on a cat whip for Lufia, 23 more attack than the hammer rod. Then after selling off a lot of old stuff, 11,000 gold each for 2 pairs of sword shoes for Mixam and Agaro, 4 defense and 10 attack more than the spike shoes, and 11,400 gold for some cat heals for Jerrin, 5 attack and 1 defense more than the needle heals. I warp to Grenoble and go down to the 5th floor of the old cave. Cooper is found in the most northeast room of the floor. We tell him that Rael is looking for him and he's ready to drop everything and return to him. He has an escape, but it's damaged so Jerrin has to cast it to get him out. I walk back to Carbis and go to the basement to bring Cooper back to Rael. He asks Cooper to fix the Falcon, but Cooper needs some alumina to do that. We learn that it's a light metal that doesn't rust and it's what the Falcon is made of, and we need 7 pieces of it. He says that there is a cave in the Fargo Islands and that a man named Brant in Linz will know where it is. So I need to unlock the Tower of Light's back door. But before I do anything, I warp to Epro and do some more grinding. Since at the time I was still playing, I wanted to play a little more but didn't feel like continuing the story yet. It's here I meet the very annoying Mega Frog with their strong attacks and ability to cast Champion on themselves for a full heal. I actually get wiped out on this grind when Mad Wolves double team my party members one at a time while casting Dread to make them lose huge amounts of defense. Later from the same fight I get Mixam to level 32 and Lufia to level 31 to teach her Blast, the second explosion spell. Then a bit later, from the same fight, Aguro reaches level 29 and Jerin reaches level 28 to learn Boost. Next, Mixam reaches level 33 and Lufia level 32 in the same fight. Aguro reaches level 30 next. I then return to Grenoble to get my target for the 7th and final floor of the Old Cave. This time my target is the Crown Jewels, so down into the Old Cave I go one last time. This is the biggest floor of them all. I start in the southwest and move east, collecting 6 chests on the way to a door. Through it and northwest I grab an item hidden in the poison and go down the stairs. In the basement I go anti-clockwise to the stairs in the northwest, grabbing 5 chests on the way. This puts me back on the first floor in the northwest corner. I open 2 chests and go through the door to find another, then up a long ladder for 3 more chests before I go back down to the basement. I go south to get the last 2 chests down there and take the stairs back to the starting room. From there I go up a ladder, getting 3 more chests, and then through the door into the big main room. I go southeast, 4 chests on the way, down a ladder and north for 2 more, across the poison west for another chest, and then down the stairs in the poison to another basement. I go east to a door with 4 chests on the way and through the door for another chest. North of the ladder and taking the stairs back to the first floor, 2 chests on the way. From there I go west and down a ladder for the final 5 chests. The chests in the first room are an empty, sweet water, the 2 in the poison being a cursed gloom pick and empty, then the 2 at the end being empty and an X potion. Enemies from outside Epro appear here now, which means that on top of the floor being the biggest, it also has fights that take forever. There's a gloom voice hidden in the poison before I go down to the basement. The chests down there are an X magic, then Jerin reaches level 29, an empty chest, a power potion, an empty, and a spell potion. The chests in the northwest of floor 3 are a Buster Sword, 4 years before Final Fantasy VII, this is 37 points stronger than Mixam's Great Axe, the other is empty. The one through the door is empty, and the 3 up the long ladder are the Crown Jewels, a miracle, and a second miracle. Back to the basement. The last 2 chests in the basement are a high magic and empty. Back in the first room, the chests are an X potion, empty, and a float. In the big room, the chests contain a great potion, followed by Mixam reaching level 34 and learning Dread, and Lufia reaching level 33 and learning the instant death perish from the same fight. An empty, power potion, spell potion, X magic, empty, a miracle. Into the second basement for an X potion, empty, 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 a wind flute which heals the entire party for 50 HP and is infinite use, but only in battle. The other 2 chests are a clear silk, replaces Jerin's silver robe for 3 more defense, and a miracle. That just leaves the last 5 on the first floor. Empty, Aguro reaching level 31, a mind potion, empty, an escape, and finally 1 more empty chest. And that is the old cave completely cleared out, as far as I knew at the time. I return to Grenoble and hand over the Crown Jewels for 10,000 gold, with the man behind the counter telling me that I am the best treasure hunter ever. But that is where we're gonna have to leave it for this episode. Like with Ys, I thought this was going to be a 2-parter, and also like Ys, it turned out way longer than I expected. Had I not had the flu while writing this, not while recording the script, no way was I putting my voice on the internet the way it was then, I may have been able to squeeze this and the eventual part 3 into one very long video, but it just wasn't happening. So next episode we begin our search for the Illumina to fix our boat subplane, and through some yet to be determined steps after, finish this thing by working out what's actually going on with the Sinistrals. And also quite a lot of dungeons remaining.